Hi everybody, my name is Shannon. Welcome to my channel, Another Yarn. Thank you so much for joining me today. I greatly appreciate it. If you're new here, welcome. I have a channel all about yarn and knitting and crocheting and all the antics and the fun things and the ups and the downs and all of that that's involved with doing our crafts and, the joys and when you have to rip it out, the sorrows, right? And the mistakes and, that stuff, the life involved with yarn and crafts and everything that goes along with it. So go ahead, take some time, like, subscribe while you're at it. So I took a brioche class. Some of you may remember this. And I don't know where my yarn is. Whatever. It's fine. It matches what I have on. That's just by coincidence. I must like these colors. Go figure. So I took my brioche class and I was learning how to do it. And I think the last time that we talked is I had just ripped out like 3 or 4 rows because I read the pattern wrong. It's, you know what? It happens. It's okay. And I continued a whole bunch. Had a class about an hour or so ago where we were learning how to bind off. So I really had to work on my cowl. Look at that. I had to get some more stitches just moving. This is, do I have measuring tape here? Yes, I do. It's like 6 and some odd inches deep, wide, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, 6.5, just like the pattern said. Go figure, right? So this is I graduated my class making my brioche cowl. So that's that bright pink. And then, yeah, I don't have my yarn sitting here. I must be in the other room. And then look at that. It's gorgeous. I didn't notice that. It kind of goes like kind of on a bias a little bit, maybe because of going in the round. I don't know. This is my second time doing anything with brioche. So really pleased with this. Let's see, how does it look with all my pinks on? Oh, that works. Look at that. Oh my. So this was not as difficult as I made it out to be. I mean, come on, right? Most things aren't. When we're working with crafting, whether it's your knitting or your crochet, or either, doing one, doing the other, doing both. I do both. We tend to look at somebody else's stuff and say, oh, that's too hard. That's great that you can work in thread, but I can't work in thread. That's great that you work in super bulky, but I can't work in super bulky. We get into our areas and we define ourselves. And, we'll look at things that's like, oh, well, that one has popcorn stitches. Those are hard. No, they're not hard. They're just slow, right? Oh, that one has cables, whether it's knit cables or crochet cables. Oh, I can't do that. It's that front post, back post on crochet. Or, you're crossing your stitches and stuff like that knit. Either way, they're not difficult. All you need is to take a breath, relax, calm down. Sometimes you have to be in the mood to do the thing, right? Whatever the thing is, and just take it slow. 1 stitch counts. I had quite a bit of this that I had to pull back because I had misread the pattern. So we've got on this, you can see here, like this little crossing, right? All of these little dots right there. Those are crossing over to give this Celtic cable look for my cowl. Well, okay, maybe I'm the only one that does this. I read the first part of the instructions for the stitch because it says brioche knit and brioche purls. They're called barks and burps. You got a whole different set for brioche of acronyms, terms, and names. It sounds really gross. You got barks and burps and it's just, whatever. So you've got all these different ways to refer to that. And I looked at it and it's like, okay, well, you slip the first stitch. Now, whether it's got the yarn over on it or not, but you count as 1 stitch. So you slip the first stitch and then it said knit the other 2 together. Well, okay, I get that. And it's like, oh, hey, you pass the stitch over, right? We understand that, right? We've done those types of decreases before. Yes, except I missed one minor step of that. So my thing, I was taking 3 stitches, and I was decreasing down to 1 stitch for each one of those crossovers. And of course I wasn't paying attention and noticed it until how many rows later? I mean, whatever. And obviously this is a cowl, not a hat. You don't want to decrease like that. It's, you're going to choke yourself. So what I didn't read, not hard. Yeah, you slip the first stitch. Got it. You knit the next 2 stitches. Keep it on the needle. And then you yarn over and you knit that stitch again. Okay. Then you pass the stitch over. So you started with 3 stitches and you end with 3 stitches. And it creates this crossover section right there, right? I mean, it's not that difficult. But, you know, reading comprehension's important. The pattern did state it. It did spell it out. It did have it in written words. I thought it was one thing. I'm like, oh, I know how to do this stitch. I got this. And I moved on. Totally me. That definitely cost a little bit of time, cost a little bit of energy. That's okay. So I did pull that out because that was not salvageable, right? You know, I mean, you know, it's like there's 96 stitches around on this thing. And you know, each section, there's 6 of these, I think. 6, I don't know, something like 5 or 6 of those things are on there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 6. So 6 of those sections, you know, and the 2 decreases each, you know, so that's a lot of stitches that I decrease from 96 down. Yeah, that's not good. So I had to fix that. That had to be fixed. But I did leave a mistake in there because it's okay. It's fine. And I'll show it to you as soon as I find it again. Yeah, I just have to. It was easier when I had the marker in there. Okay, so here I've got, let me pull it right here. And I do that as a, just, you know, just to, in full honesty and everything, most people will not see it and notice it. If it's something that would truly bother you, if you're making it for you and it would truly bother you and drive you absolutely nuts, of course, go ahead and rip back and take care of that. I think by the time that I had realized that I was on the next set of crossovers, so it's like 4+ rounds, right? That's a lot of stitches to meticulously unknit. And I didn't want to do that. So I looked at it and I decided it's not going to hurt my feelings and I left it. So it is, do I have something to point with? Here, I have a crochet hook. Okay, so it's right here. Do you see that loop is just longer than the others? I missed a crossover right here. I should have had a crossover sooner. I didn't do it. And you can see all these, they're all the same space in between, you know, the little loops and the crossovers going up. So this is where I had the error. And I decided it's okay. I can live with that. That's, yeah, if you know what you're looking for, you can see it. That's fine. But it's not something that hurt my feelings. It's not something that will keep me up at night. I will still comfortably be able to give this to somebody and not feel bad going, oh, that's a mistake. They're going to notice. They're going to look at me. They're going to say, oh, you gave me your seconds. I don't think anyone's going to notice in any way, shape, or form. Let me see. Okay, so here's the error right here. Well, let's put that up front. All right. Can you even tell? It's right here. You know, so that's on. Is that something that you would notice? Is that something that would, if you gave it to somebody, that they would notice? Now, your best knitting friend and everything, you guys can laugh over it, you know, because we always point things out. We notice. And we think it has this spotlight that says, oh, there's a mistake. No, And that's front and center right here. No big deal. So on that one, I guess the lesson is, give as Linan from Nina's Knots and Crochet likes to say and everything, and I also say it too, is give yourself some grace. It's okay. Don't be so harsh on yourself. You're doing things, for me, I'm learning, right? So there's some mistakes. That's all right. It took me a little bit to do the bind off, and I did it in Italian bind off. Look at that. Isn't that cool? It just looks like, you know, your knitting started from nothing. So I think my Italian bind off looks nicer than here's my cast on. I guess they both look fine. Yeah, they look fine. It took a little bit. I wasn't looking at the instructions correctly. It's okay. So I got about that far bound off, and it wasn't right. And, you know, I'm in class and everything, and I'm just going on and everything. And the instructor comes over and she's like, yeah, that's not right. I'm like, yeah, but I'm going to finish it that way. She said, no, because you'll forget. And then you're going to show people and you're going to tell people and you're going to forget that that's wrong, and they're going to think I taught you wrong. So we're going to do it right. So you're going to pull it out. So it took me a little while to unbind off, if that's a word, right? And get all the stitches back reoriented the way they were supposed to be and do it correctly. But you know, I'm actually, I wasn't thrilled when she said that at first. I'm not going to lie. You know, I wasn't mean. I wasn't nasty. I didn't say anything. I just internally was like, it's fine. It's getting bound off. The stitches aren't going anywhere. It's good. I'm good. I just want to be done. I'm glad that she said, no, we're going to do it. I like it better. I like the way it looks better. She was right. It looks cleaner. It looks better. It's nicer. Yeah, it is. So really happy with that. So that's my new skills. Oh, the pattern is on ABC Knitting, and I'll link this down below. And that is a free pattern for the hat and the cowl. Those are both free, and her name, I think it's, what is her name? Elaine Phillips. So the designer is Elaine Phillips. This is ABC Knitting Patterns, and this is that. So I didn't look at the way she did the bind off on her pattern. You can see she did it with the two colors like that. I did the Italian cast off bind off that we were going to be doing in class. I don't do enough brioche, don't really care one way or the other. I think it has a good ending, a good finish, and I'm happy with that. And look, oh my gosh, and that is such a bright, it's not showing up right now, I don't know why, but it is such a bright pink. And this blue, this right here, with all the different colors in there, it works out beautifully. And you know, I mean, obviously this is, well, either side can be the front or back, whatever you choose. But, you know, just if you want that, still have that bright pop of pink and toned down, it is gorgeous. It really is. And remember on mine, and I chose this because I wanted those specific colors. My pink is worsted weight, and I believe that's what the pattern calls for. And the other color is a DK. So I do have two different weights of yarn. That was my choice for color pop. You know, I wanted that. I wanted that pink. I fell in love with these two balls of yarn, and I just didn't care. And when I started it, I wasn't sure, because, you know, it can make a difference. Well, obviously, you know, two separate weights of yarn. There you go. I did do more repeats through here to make that 6.5 inches. I didn't do a gauge swatch either. Go figure. But, you know, you look at this. This is the original pattern, and you can see, you know, it's like 4 separate repeats there. Well, I've got about 6. So I did do quite a bit more to get that size that I needed. But, you know, isn't that what we do gauge for? If you want to do that. And some things definitely needed. I'm not saying don't do a gauge swatch ever, right? But we do a gauge swatch to make sure that it's going to fit the person we want, or the object, or whatever it is. And we can also calculate better for yarn usage, different things along that line. I was learning. I didn't care, right? You know, if you've been around for a while, you know, on a lot of things, my attitude is it's going to fit somebody. I like to have things worked up at my house: hats, mittens, mitts, fingerless mitts, cowls, those types of things that I can just give away at the whim, right? The owner will claim it. And what I mean by that is, do you ever notice sometimes when you show something off and somebody oohs and ahs, just the right tone, just the right pitch, and everything in you says it belongs to them and you have to give it to them? I do that. So I wasn't worried about if this was too long. We've all seen cowls that, I've got one cowl that wraps around me and everything, and it hangs below my coat, right? That type of thing. So we've all seen cowls that are really, really long, and some that are just really close form fitting to the neck. So I wasn't concerned if it was either too big or too small. It was going to fit somebody. For that matter, if it had been way too small, hello, isn't that how hats start out? I mean, if it would have been way too small, there you go. And then I would have just worked on closing up the top and turning that into a hat. So I had other options. I mean, obviously it has the hat pattern too. We just do some decreases. So I wasn't concerned on that aspect. Yes, I had to make more rounds, but I had a full skein of each color, and it was going to take maybe half the skein. Plenty of yarn, right? So those are just some things to look at when you're looking at your patterns, your designs, and things like that. If you have excess yarn, I have excess yarn. It doesn't matter. If you're not worried about who it's going to go to, not worried at all. This will go to somebody. I don't know who. I mean, obviously it matches what I have on, right? That's not a problem. But if you've been around for a while, you know I tend to give a lot of things away. It's just how that works. So somebody will come in my life, they'll claim it, it'll get out of my house, and I'll be happy. But I had fun making it. I had fun holding the yarn. I had fun learning a new skill. We'll see how much brioche I end up doing because that is different. I was really happy that I did that. This month, I'm going to also be expanding my horizons even more because tomorrow, for things we're making Thursday, it's try something Tunisian. So I'm still on the hunt for that. I did get some Tunisian crochet hooks and I'm going to be playing along. I'm not sure what I'm going to do yet. I will, between today and tomorrow, I will figure that out. I will get something on that hook and I will show that, right? I've got some ideas in my head, but I have to learn, right? It's a new skill. It's not hard, but it's a new skill. It has new abbreviations. It has new language and how it says things. I did start to read the Lamia pattern, which is a beautiful shawl. And, you know, you've got Tunisian simple stitch, TSS, Tunisian purl stitch. I think that's TPS, right? Or TSP. I'm not really sure, right? You know, you've got all these different terms for things like, well, wait a minute, I'm not ready. Well, brioche had all those different terms. Tunisian has all those different terms. If you're a crochet and you've never knit before, hello, knit has all those different terms. Or if you're a knitter and you've never crocheted before, crochet has all those different terms. I feel for people, well, in all different aspects. If you're a knitter and you've never crocheted, you're like, dude, what? Knitting's easy. You've got knit, you've got purl, you've got yarn over, right? Everything is those things. It's a combination of those three items. Knit and purl, very binary. Up, down, yes, no. That's it. And then you throw in some random intentional holes and call it lace. Right? You know, that's especially when you're first learning, you got those holes you didn't plan. It's lace. It's a design feature. Well, then you get into crochet. Like, hey, everyone's talking about crochet and your granny squares are really popular and all this stuff. And I want to do a granny square and I want to do bobbles and I want to do all these things. Oh, wait, crochet, you have slip stitch and you have chain and you have single and you have half and you have double and you have, you know, you've got all these different things and you got treble and then it just continues on. You got all these different stitches like, oh, wait a minute. Whoa, 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 whoa. Neither one are hard. You just have to learn those. Brioche isn't hard. You just have to learn the language. Tunisian, pretty sure it's not hard. I just have to sit down, relax, learn the language, and oh, that's what that means. Got it, right? That's all it is. Hopefully you're doing that in your world. You're doing something that expands your horizons and something that you look at and you're like, wow, I did that. I'm really happy. I did it. I did it. I made my brioche thing. I graduated my class, right? I did. There you go. And you can too. All you have to do is just put your mind to it. You can do any craft, anything that you want to do. You can pick it up and you can learn it. One stitch at a time. Give yourself some grace. You've got this. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and let you guys go. You have a great day, night, evening, whatever it happens to be. And I will talk to you again later. Bye-bye.